First quarter of the 1990 AFL preliminary final from VFL Park. The West Coast Eagles going right of screen. No real advantage here this afternoon. Thompson, a fresh air shot. Ball shuffled out of the pack, but the whistle has already been blown by the umpire. And we'll see another bounce just wide of the centre circle. Good and sunshine. A couple of clouds around today. We couldn't wish for better conditions. Madden has a big run at the ball. So too does Laurie Keane. They both missed it. Brennan, short kick to half forward, and Jackson, pigeon-toed forward, still inside the square, but he can kick the ball a long way. Oh, he should have got it moving a lot quicker than this.
Taking much too long, Peter. Simon Madden down in the goal square.
They could have built a block of flats in the goal square with the time he took. Ball punched clear. Thompson gets the rebound from Hamilton. McKenna, notice with that arm pretty heavily bandaged. Cransberg. Good hand pass. Harvey a little slow and got shirt-fronted for his trouble. Laurie Keane tried for the torpedo, didn't quite get onto it, and the end result, Markle free kick to the Bombers. It'll be taken by Madden. He's paid the mark, obviously.
I think we'll see a lot of that today too. Simon Madden dropping back, helping out in defence.
Danaher, actually one of three. Just about a record for a preliminary final. Cransberg taking the pass from Anthony towards centre wing, and Kemp. Short kick, only travels about 35 metres down towards right half forward. Chris Danaher this time nearly brushes the tackle. Short kick up the centre wing.
He's on the mark. He's on the wing. Down towards half forward. Worsfold in best position. Free kick off the ball. Going to Scott.
Phil Scott has the job on Paul Salmon. Lockyer picking up Paul Vanderhaar.
Scott out wide. Great mark there taken by Grenville. That was a beauty between two Eagles. Recruited from South Australia. He's on the centre wing. Quite sunny day. The ground in glorious condition. Grenville plays on. Kicks towards centre half forward. O'Donnell knocked on by Vanderhaar. Lockyer leading back in the race, assisted by Mainwaring, who breaks away from half-back, kicks towards centre wing. Jackson's the target out there. He's outnumbered. Well done by Chris Danaher. From centre wing towards half-forward. The Eagles have got the numbers. Worsfold over the top. Well taken by Lockyer. And again, well done. This is Hart in trouble. Brennan, high kick towards the boundary. A good one. And McKenna gets a fitness test.
Yes, seemed to wear it okay. Doing a Darren Mullane. Oh, was that a nut jab? Certainly looked that way. Surely.
That's too early by Jackson.
Terry Danaher. Madden. Veterans combining. Madden at centre field. Over the hand pass. Gets it back again from Thompson. Not a long kick up towards half forward. Spawn with the punch. Pios with courage out of defence. Bounce doesn't favour Madden. Lewis and Heady. Heady with Madden. Waterman, who's played well in recent matches. Danaher. This is Terry. Short pass. Thompson, one of their better players last week, Bomber Thompson. Towards midfield. That's a strong grab by the skipper. Watson, they need him starting today. Down to half forward and Salmon. Couldn't quite take the mark. That's a free kick. Lockyer will take it right on the defensive 50-metre line. Goes for the hand pass. Pios. Transferring play to the member stand side. Man who on his day could be a match winner. Chris Lewis chips it short. Turley, likewise in great form last week. Again short, down to half forward. And the recruit of the year, Brett Heady. Short kick again. The Eagles with plenty of use of the ball. And Jackson, his third possession so far. Too far out to score.
Taking a long time again too, Peter. Not sure what to do.
Sumic on a lead and marks.
Madden was back again, but bad play by Essendon. They didn't fill the hole there.
And Sumic on his right side. Remember the behind he kicked to level the scores in the qualifying final. That was on the other side of the ground from closer in. He draws the ball. Running out to the left.
He should make the distance, Pete, from there.
Kicking right on 50. line ball decision. And scrapes through from behind. And that's the opening score. Here at VFL Park, one behind of the Eagles. It's over 5 minutes to get it.
Some precision passing in the build-up. Just under 20 minutes remaining in the first term. Punched away by Turley. Begovic has got the run of it towards the boundary line. Thompson confronted him. Kransberg went by the ball. It socked off the ground. Out of bounds on the full by Begovic. Buick to take the free kick.
Chris Lewis is opposed to Thompson of Essendon, so that should be a very good duel with centre-line players.
Buick high towards centre wing. Brennan through his hands. Worsfold, good presence of mind. Back towards half forward with courage. Madden went in. Couldn't hang on. Grenvold to Terry Danaher. This is Anderson though, going the other way. Forward of half back. Kicks long towards half forward. Salmon comes out in front. Strong mark, Paul Salmon. Big roar.
Tremendous mark in front, Paul Salmon. Played a great game last week. Essendon's best player.
There's a long kick, but this time he goes short. Mainwaring getting back, sensing the danger, got a hand to it. Thumped towards the boundary line by Lockyer, and it will be thrown in. Tight start this one. The prize, as Peter said earlier, a place in the grand final. Scott wins it forward. Watson shrugs the tackle. Great goal.
Skipper's goal. Essendon scoring first blood. 1-1. The one behind.
As you would expect in a finals game with this amount of pressure, very hard to kick goals early in the match. Both defences have been on top. Paul Salmon doing a good job in the ruck and leading well from full forward. And that's the style of play we have come to expect from Tim Watson. He didn't have much dash last week, but I'm sure he'll be keen to play a much better game this week.
Keane and Madden to contest the centre bounce after the goal by Watson. 18.5 minutes left in the opening term. Great start by the Bombers. And the two big men go at it. Neither gets a decisive tap out. Kransberg leading in the race. Gets a good shepherd. Langdon taken off it. The stalemate developing. Ball slapped into the open spaces for Pios to gather. Right on the boundary line. And predictably didn't get too much distance with the kick. It's out of bounds, but it's an Essendon free kick to Thompson. And so far he's taken the points from Chris Lewis.
Well, must have been a trip there, Dennis.
That's what he paid.
Very strange.
Salmon and Thompson, two of the better Bomber players last week. Van der Haar has it punched clear. Loose ball again. Oh, Van der Haar kicks it off the ground. Turley in front. Izard, short kick. Lockyer, Hart, have to be quick. He does to get clear from Harvey. Anderson in pursuit, won't catch him. Ball delivered out wide, 2 on front, or 2 on 1 in favour of Essendon. Grenvold, Chris Danaher went for the hand pass to his brother, ultimately effective. Terry Danaher up the centre wing. The Eagles not before with the ball this time because it's Izard. We nearly get corrected by Turley, and that's a strong mark taken by Worsfold, who's done well in the finals. David Hart inside his defensive 50-metre line. Kicks to centre wing. The Eagles breaking down at the moment across the half-forward line. Langdon, too fast for Kransberg. He gets taken out by Lewis. Good buck, hip and shoulder it was. Heady, well tackled. Gets rid of the ball just in time. Jackson and Buick. Langdon, too far out to score. Wobbly kick off the boot. Hamilton punches clear from Waterman. Chris Danaher goes for the boundary line. And now gets his kicking from Anthony at once. Anderson, one of the favourites for the Brownlow, who didn't play as well as many people expected. Begovic, hurried hand pass, and the Eagles doing things hurriedly at the moment. This is Hart. Madden sets himself. Great mark by the vicar.
They're going to shepherd off the ball there. Madden paid the mark. Chris Danaher's in trouble. Well played to Madden. He started very well. Kicks towards centre wing. Watson's in front. He wore one there. That hurt.
That did hurt too, Dennis. He's playing on a very tough player in Johnny Worsfold. Let's have a look at that again. There was a fist coming around, and I think he was attempting to knock the ball away.
Free kick to the Eagles on the other side, meantime, against Buick for a throw. Worsfold. McKenna doesn't look right. Well played, though. Worsfold close to the boundary line, and we've got a throw in. Harvey comes off the ground. Long is on. Pulsating start this one. Vast pressure. Madden. Chris Danaher, was he tripped? Not according to the umpire. Clever hand pass. Buick, standing start, kicks towards half forward. Brennan almost the mark. Strong tackle by Long. Lockyer, who's doing well in defence, in trouble that time. Kemp hurriedly on the boot. Hart couldn't take the mark. Izard shovels it out. O'Donnell, now a chance for Thompson. Back to O'Donnell. Chip pass is good. Watson can run in and goal. He's 40 metres out. Lewis is closing. He draws the defender. Salmon. Goal. They get their second. Essendon 2 straight. The Eagles are behind.
Tim Watson had a hand in both of those goals, Bernie.
There's brilliant play there by Timmy Watson. He had a lot of space there on the half-forward line. John Worsfold had been involved in the passage of play. He didn't have time to check where Timmy Watson had gone. He'd gone off the ball, made a bit of space for himself, and good unselfish team play by Watson running, and he could have kicked the goal himself over the top to Paul Salmon.
Two goals virtually to Timmy Watson. Salmon kicked the first, but Watson's had a hand in them. The Bombers by 11 points at VFL Park. They're doing well. Pios, still the Eagles breaking down across half forward. Jackson gets a reasonable bounce. Anderson dispossessed quickly, throwing the ball. It's a free kick to the Eagles, and it will be taken by Stephen Jackson at left centre wing. Sumich the target. Couldn't take it. Thompson doing well. Likewise Madden, who had a bit of a G up in the press during the week. Spawn back into the side. He played the last home and away game, Kieran Spawn. Down towards half forward. That was an interesting one. Long started on the bench. He's done okay since he came on. Chips it into the pocket. Scott takes the mark in front of Darren, or Alan Izard it is. Keane should mark. Looks for the mark. Looks at the umpire. Didn't get any success.
You're right, Pete. He should have taken that mark. Not a lot of pressure there. Only a small player behind him. He needs strong hands, Laurie Keane.
Do the ruck work with Paul van der Haar. Wins it out. Thompson, best on the ground so far. Gets bundled out of it by Kemp. To his credit, got his kick in. Watson seems to have recovered from that knock, which he got from Johnny Worsfold, and he answered in the best manner possible by booting getting another goal for Essendon. 13 and a half minutes left in the term. Van der Haar and Keane again doing the ruck work. Van der Haar this time. Turley and Long with Kemp. Long doing better. Then it comes to Lewis. Breaks one tackle. Nearly runs out of bounds. Was he out of bounds? No, says the boundary umpire, but that wasn't long enough for a mark, and Kemp finally gets a kick.
Only as far as Madden. Playing superbly. Kransberg hard against the boundary line. Kicks Long inside the 50. Scott over the top. It could be an Essendon free. No, it's going the other way. A lot of interference in there, maybe a chain reaction. I don't know who started it, but they were tumbling in all directions. Lockyer's got the ball. Lockyer up from the back pocket towards centre wing. Thompson and Brennan. Brennan did best, got it on the ground, found it again. Keane, well done, big fellow. Keane long towards half forward, heading in from the side. Couldn't hang on. Chris Danaher with dash. Across half back, swings it out wide. Spawn takes the mark. He'll be a dangerous customer on these wide expanses at VFL Park. Manning at close quarters to Thompson. Thompson forward of centre. Long bomb. Salmon going back with Scott. Almost the mark. Now a chance for Buick. Well done by Begovic. Slaps it out wide. Mainwaring's got the run of it. Draws a man. Hurried hand pass. Close to the boundary line. It runs out and will be thrown in.
Begovic did very well in defence there for the Eagles.
Brennan
very
collected.
dangerous. Yes, Brennan in the hands of the trainers. I think he'll be okay. Very solid bump there from Simon Madden.
Meantime, Essendon go forward. Buick an opportunity. 12 metres out. Was pushed in the back, surely. It's a behind. Wow. 2-1 to a behind. 11:33 remaining. Umpire's pretty lenient with that push as the player's in the act of kicking. Must have been close to in the back, but the umpire thought in the side.
Chris Danaher, just looking at the stats, 7 possessions so far for the Eagles, doing a great job in defence for them. Simon said, Dennis, playing a brilliant game. Van der Haar, his target. Son of the eyes of the players. Lewis has been shaded so far, having plenty of space across the half-back line. And doesn't deliver the ball as he would have liked. Funny old sort of a kick, but Heady read it well. Takes the mark. Mainwaring can't play on. It wasn't a free kick. But Brett Heady at left centre wing. Target is Paul Pios. Marks in front of Long, still inside the centre square. And again, being repetitive, the Eagles still breaking down across half forward. Bremen this time.
He'll go close from here. It's a long kick.
He can kick the ball a long way. He'll be kicking from about 60 metres out, but there's one player who would be capable of kicking the distance.
Let's see how he goes. Won't quite get it. Oh, gee, was that touched? It was. They're behind the Eagles, still to open their account goal-wise. 2 behinds, 2 points. They trail Essendon by 11 points. Carl Langdon having a stint on the boundary. Danaher again. Chris, 8th possession. Doing some magnificent work in the back pocket. McKenna to Hart. Well ridden down by Michael Long. Guy McKenna, class play from right half forward. Spears the pass in, intended for Lewis, a little bit too low for him. Terry Danaher. All the time in the world to gather that one in. Well, Simon Madden looks on and chips it out to Greg Anderson, who marks on right half-back flank.
Anderson goes for distance, long towards the centre wing. Hart leads back in the race with some time. David Hart towards half forward. He's out in front, knocked away by Keane. Forward go the Eagles. Brennan out wide. Jackson.
It takes far too long, Stephen Jackson. Just strolls back when he's got the ball. He's still probably too far out to make the distance. And yet there he is again, just far too long, making some decision as what he should do. The goal square is now packed with Essendon players.
Madden the first to get back too. Although Keane's down there now. Jackson hoisted very high. That's a pretty good looking kick. They contest about a metre out. Madden got his fist on it. This is Chris Danaher, who's playing very well. He comes away from defence, runs up towards half-back. Poor kick towards centre wing. Pios got an unkind bounce. Over the ball is Manning, penalised for holding it. McKenna to take the free kick on centre wing.
Guy McKenna, with arm heavily bandaged, was under somewhat of a cloud whether he would take his place on the side or not. A player that the Eagles not want to have sitting on the sidelines. Oh, Sunic outnumbered there. Hamilton
Van der Haar off.
Easiest of marks.
Sorry, Pete. Van der Haar off and Mark Harvey back on the ground.
Sheedy playing the numbers game already. Terry Danaher. That wasn't a good kick. Mainwaring, who kicked their first 2 goals last week. He could get their first today as he steadies from 45 out, and he's put it through. Essendon just took it a little bit too easy there. 2-1 to 1-2.
Yes, a little bit lax out of defence there, Essendon. Terry Danaher, the player at fault, going for the short pass to Mark Thompson. Thompson did everything he could possibly do, but the ball just bouncing in Mainwaring's favour. And we've seen his skills last week with those 2 goals in the first minute and a quarter. Brilliant play, Mainwaring. First goal for the Eagles.
The breeze not a factor. Just over 8 minutes remaining till quarter time. And it's the Bombers by 5 points. Watson out of the centre, long towards half forward. Well played by Scott, got his boot to the ball. Sends it back towards the outer side half-back flank. Mainwaring hurt in that collision. Anderson with a run of it back to Watson. Watson has the ball. Kicks down towards the 50. Kickett did well, courageously knocked it on. Great stuff by Turley though, controlled it well. Goes in short, Heady takes the mark. So Heady pushing up the ground at the present time. Mainwaring still down. Heady has the ball at half-back. 2-1 to 1-2. Nest of Essendon players around this ball, and the mark is held in front by Thompson. Not a good option by Brett Heady. Bomber Thompson goes looking for Kickett. Well-weighted kick. And Kickett drifting in behind the defender takes the mark. He's about 55 metres out from goal. Salmon down in the goal square. Now comes on the lead. Lost his marker, Phil Scott, completely. Got about 10 metres in front of him.
Yes, he just can't afford to do that. Phil Scott far too loose on that occasion. Just gave Paul Salmon 10 metres break.
Look at that eye. Chris Mainwaring. A clash of heads on the outer side.
With Mark Harvey.
Salmon. Tough angle, but a good-looking kick. Third goal on the board for the Bombers.
And the second to Paul Salmon. Essendon 3-1. West Coast 1-2.
Salmon, obviously the danger man for the West Coast Eagles, playing well on that Essendon forward line. One hand pass over the top from Watson, and Phil Scott just needs to be a lot tighter than that, because he gave Paul Salmon 10 metres to make his break, and a very good kick for goal, Paul Salmon, as well.
Back into the centre, it's Essendon by 11 points. As the umpire brings a halt to proceedings, it's going to be an Essendon free kick. Bomber Thompson, best on the ground so far. Now he's got a couple of mates, Chris Danaher, Salmon and Watson, all doing well. Turley sees the ball safely over the boundary line for throw in on the outer side, just on the attacking side of centre. 5 minutes and 3/4 left in this term. Keane and Madden. Turley. Little short kick. Lewis gets nudged out of it just at the wrong time, or the right time, depending on who you're barracking for. And a hand pass comes back to him from left centre wing. Chris Lewis. Sumic marking in front of Anthony Danaher. Wrong side of the ground for him. But the angle not too great. He would be able to get the distance from there, one would think. And the goal scorer for the Eagles to date is Chris Mainwaring. Got a pretty bad sort of eye at the moment after that collision with Mark Harvey. Sumic's kick drifting right across the face of goal. That's out of bounds on the full. And it'll be a free kick to Essendon to be taken by Terry Danaher. Chris Danaher so far, 9 possessions. And this will be Terry's 6th kick. So the Danaher's doing well. Those two anyway so far. Lockyer, almost. McKenna. Short kick down. Marking contest, none paid. Terry Danaher gets ridden into the ground, and umpire Brian Sheehan will bounce the ball 35 metres out from the Eagles' goal. They badly need one here. Isn't it on top in that stat? The 16 players around the ball. The 2:27s contest, Madden and Jackson. It's won by the former, and Terry Danaher sees the ball safely over the boundary line, although a little bit closer to the Eagles' goal. Paul Vanderhaar having a rest, and Essendon on top in that one as well. Lewis actually wins it. Begovic tries to get some space, couldn't find too much. Sumic had to beat 3 of them and did pretty well, and Thompson quite content to let the ball go over the boundary line. Mark Thompson doing well for the Bombers so far. 3 marks and 10 possessions. He's been a particularly good contributor in the opening term.
Just under 4 minutes till quarter time. 3-1 to 1-2. Boundary throw in. Thompson again. 11th possession. Got it to Terry Danaher. Searching hand pass to accommodate the run of Kransberg. He takes it up through half back now. Long kick out wide to the run of Long in turn. Long with Mainwaring. Mainwaring did well and wins a free kick.
That was tremendous play by Chris Mainwaring, putting his body in.
Showing a lot of courage, Mainwaring. This is Lockyer on the wing. Towards half forward. Sumic a long way out from goal. Couldn't hang on. Heady. Hard against the boundary line. Keeps it alive, but only as far as Hamilton. And that should be 50. No 50.
Well, it should have been. No doubt about that. Manhandled after he'd taken the mark. No need for it.
Hamilton. High back towards centre wing. Salmon up the ground. It's tough to outmark. O'Donnell comes away. O'Donnell through centre. Not a particularly good kick. Jackson did well to knock it away from Madden. It falls to Kemp. Hurried kick towards half forward. Storming up the ground is Anthony Danaher. Has it at left half back. Kicks out wide. Spawn takes the mark and can run. Goes over Worsfold. Terry Danaher has it. Kickett is drifting back. Short of Kickett. He comes up now. Has the ball in front of him, Derek Kickett. Quick hand pass to no one in particular. Long, a great tackle on Scott. McKenna bleeding from the nose, kicks back towards centre wing. Awkward bounce. Thompson, a dozen possessions. Not one of his best, though. Transberg confronted. Salmon does well. And now Chris Danaher on centre wing.
Chris Danaher seemingly everywhere. Marking contest. Madden will get the free kick. Simon Madden. Good left foot with that trusty left sole. There it is. Instep. A long pinpoint accuracy. I think Madden's a longer kick than Michael is. He's just a little bit closer. Started on the bench. Him long. Fancies himself to get the distance. Didn't quite do it. Picked up by Scott. From a standing start. Terry Danaher in the road. Ball bounces kindly for him. Over to Greg Anderson, seemingly with all the time in the world. Anderson from 65 metres out. Madden at the back has the set and marks. And as they would say, he's on the right side to the left side.
Well, it's been a tremendous quarter by Simon Madden. He's taken 5 marks. A lot of those marks have been taken in defence. We see that again. Just out-positioned Phil Scott. He's had 6 kicks already and 3 hand passes. So the needle during the week's obviously done him the world of good.
He doesn't miss too many from this close in. Simon Madden, and he hasn't missed that one. Madden's first goal and Essendon's fourth. The Bombers off to a great start. 4-1 to 1-2.
There's the 2 Essendon big men, both Salmon and, of course, Simon Madden, the player who took that mark and kicked the goal, causing the West Coast plenty of headaches. Their height, Simon Madden taking this mark, but Paul Salmon also very strong in the air, and those 2 players are really causing the Eagles plenty of worries.
Simon Madden, 4 times the best and fairest winner with the Bombers, an inspiration in this opening term. Essendon lead by 17 points. Salmon wins it down. Spawn with dash. Salmon in trouble. Taken by Anderson, who ran the gauntlet between 3 players, got the kick away. Now it's with Izzard, a high one inside the 50. Scott comes up in front, Buick behind from 40 metres out, and puts it out of bounds on the full in the pocket.
Free to Scott.
We'll come back to Phil Scott. There's the man in front. Pios has the ball. Comes to Scott on the siren. Essendon lead it at quarter time, 4-1 to 1-2.
The umpires have let it go. Second quarter of the AFL preliminary final, 17 points the difference in favour of Essendon. The Bombers doing much the better in the first quarter. The Eagles will need to lift their game if they're to tackle Collingwood next week. Free kick at the centre circle, and it's going to the West Coast Eagles. It's going to be taken by Heady. Chance to put the Eagles into attack early in the second term. They need some goals. Chris Mainwaring, their only goal scorer so far. Turley, will it be a costly fumble? Begovic well tackled by Long. That's holding the ball surely. The advantage well played, and the Bombers carry it on again. Tim Watson in scintillating form in the opening quarter. Buick back to Anderson, tackled by Mainwaring a little late. Madden didn't quite drag it down. Not Buick, but Izzard does get dragged down. Michael Long slaps it out for Watson. Will he give it to Izzard? No. Has a kick himself. Buick marks just about in the square, and you can put down your glasses already. Another goal to Essendon.
Yes, they're a revitalised side this week, Essendon, after last week's drubbing at the hands of Collingwood, but a critical mistake in the centre of the ground there by Craig Turley, drubbing that sitter, and rebounded very quickly up into the Essendon forward line, with Buick only having a shot from about 12 metres.
8 possessions to Watson so far. Buick comes in, couldn't possibly miss, and he has it. 5-1, 31. Essendon, the West Coast Eagles, 1-2-8 at VFL Park.
And already the signs not looking too good for the West Coast Eagles. The Essendon smaller players well on top. Laurie Keane not doing so well in the centre of the ground, with Paul Salmon now doing the rucking. Tim Watson playing a much better game than last week. And of course Anderson across that centre line, and Long doing well also.
23 points the margin. Back in the middle. Keane wins it down. Well played by Spawn. Initially got a hand in there, but the hand was over the shoulder to knock the ball away from Kemp. So Kemp gets the free kick. Kemp still inside the centre square. Long towards half forward and Keane. Salmon, did he get to his back? Not according to the umpire. The mark to stand. Paul Salmon in the true centre half back position. Squares the ball. Anthony Danaher now, left half back. It's a bit too easy. Danaher kicks through centre towards half forward. Kickett and Worsfold out there. Kemp behind. Draws a man. Back to Worsfold. In trouble. Long ran him down. Spawn comes away. Long kick towards the 50-metre line. Hart goes back with courage. Almost the mark. Mainwaring, who's fighting hard for the Eagles, boots it towards the outer side. Thompson, unkind bounce. Likewise Lockyer. Transberg gave it away. This is Lewis twisting and turning. Well played. Lockyer, centre wing. Back to Lewis. Lewis kicks inside the 50. Dropped down there by Waterman. Hamilton comes away with it. Runners to the near side now for Essendon. Anderson's got the run of it. Confronted by Mainwaring. He hooks it across his body and finds O'Donnell. O'Donnell wants to go. He's on centre wing. Back to Anderson, who wants his left side. As a result, was in trouble. Mainwaring kept it alive. Turley carries it across the boundary line.
Essendon winning the ball easily. Under 22 minutes left in the quarter. And to throw it on centre wing. Salmon having a stint on the ball, loses out to Laurie Keane, but Salmon has the last laugh. A high kick, travels 20 metres. Pios taken out of it by O'Donnell. Harvey on the boundary line has recovered from that clash with Mainwaring. Madden, mark of the day.
Yeah, that was a great mark by Simon Madden, but I can't believe there was no free kick to Pios. He was dragged off the ball there.
Yes, must agree, Bernie. Umpire's letting it go. Dean Turner copped one in the back of the neck too. Nothing for that. So letting it go, the operative phrase at the moment.
Simon Madden, yeah, taking marks at both ends of the ground.
Vintage Madden, we're turning back the clock, folks. Nothing for that either on John Worsfold, who has a look at Brian Sheehan.
You live by the sword, you die by the sword.
And has a few words to Brian Sheehan. So it's a bounce. Madden took off before nominations, leaves it for Scott. Hurried kick, Anderson and Mainwaring. Two great players. Anderson flips it over the top, straight to Pios, confronted by O'Donnell. Picked up by Kickett, farms it out wide. Worsfold, good hip and shoulder on Harvey. He might have given away a free kick, he has. That's in the back, surely. Dean Turner will take it. And there's a fight on behind play. Kickett and Worsfold. Lewis and Danaher. Terry Danaher has come out better. Just off the edge of the centre square. Looks for Gary O'Donnell. Finds him, he's played on. Not according to the umpire.
He was off, Pete.
So the luck going Essendon's way. Fine mark by Izzard. And well inside the area from which he should be able to kick. You're right on 50.
Everything going Essendon's way at the moment. It's just doing things as they like. Beautiful team play from the Essendon side.
Izzard, 49 metres out. Goals without any problem. Izzard's first goal, another one to the Bombers, and they're blitzing the Eagles 6-1 to 1-2.
Yeah, it's disappointing for the Eagles so far, and really they've had very little play across their half-forward line. Not much happening across the centre line. A couple of bad mistakes, players dropping marks that they should be taking, and this is letting Essendon in. And you can't make mistakes against a side of this quality.
Essendon by 29 points. Turley in trouble, slapped out of there by Salmon. Spawn goes off the ground. Spawn and Salmon, eh? Picked up on the other side by Grenbold. Long kick down towards full forward. Madden's done it again. What an inspiration. Only champions can lift like this. And Simon Madden, quiet last week, cops some flack, is the dominant player in this game.
Yes, He has been brilliant, Simon Madden. Marks at both ends of the ground. Got a bit of confidence at the start of the game as a loose man in defence. And now with Paul Salmon doing the ruck work, Simon Madden virtually taking over at full forward.
15 metres out, directly in front. The Bombers have 7.
One-way traffic at PFL Park, 7-1 to 1-2.
Well, maybe the travel arrangements have caught up with the West Coast Eagles. They certainly haven't got much run in their legs today. And maybe with a couple of injury problems as well. Bremen back on the ground. Really just getting no drive from the centre of the ground. Essendon doing as they like. The running players well on top. And really it's just hard to see the West Coast Eagles getting back into the game at this stage.
2 goals to Simon Madden, 7-1 to 1-2. The Bombers heading for the grand final. Turley. Sumic well up the ground. Hand pass that went nowhere. That could be a free kick to Anthony Danaher against Sumic. Might I add, it should have been a free kick. And in fact, it will be taken.
Well, Sumic has been moved to centre-half forward and Stephen Jackson playing at full forward.
Anthony Danaher. His brother Chris had a brilliant first quarter in the back pocket. Madden, or rather Sammet and Keane. 2 big guys have really played well. Brennan, hurried hand pass out to Bremen. Now it's Turley's turn. Long rides him into the ground a little bit too late. Waterman. Hamilton sees the ball safely over the boundary line in the West Coast Eagles right forward pocket. And the 1 goal on the board so far. John Northey, Melbourne coach, taking a look at proceedings, wishing what may have been perhaps.
Planning for Portland.
In Oregon. Well, they might need a lump of Oregon to stop the Bombers. The Eagles at the moment, be the only way they'd do it, I think. Everywhere. The Essendon players. Sheedy looks as though he's been beaten by 7 goals rather than ahead by the same margin. Salmon gets the front position from Stephen Jackson. Ineffectual ruck work, but there's a push out. It's going to be a free kick to the Bomber Giants. Paul Salmon will take it in the left back pocket. Mick Malthouse has got plenty of worries. And it's hard to see the Eagles getting back into it just at the moment.
Terry Danaher, the oldest man on the ground, turned 33 last month. Now Anderson, back to Terry Danaher, made it awkward for him. Keane in pursuit, right in the back, no doubt about that.
Poor effort there from Laurie Keane.
Danaher to Kransberg, metres in the clear. From centre wing down towards half forward. Madden again the target. McKenna fell over. Down went Bremen. McKenna comes back. Great pressure applied by Essendon. And we've got a boundary throw in. Derek Kickett giving a contest there twice. 7-1 to 1-2. The Eagles looking jaded. Madden works his way to the front. Scott does well though. Brennan away from defence. Kicks long towards centre wing. Langdon almost the good mark. Will get the free kick. Now the mark is paid.
Or the free, it didn't matter there. He deserved it anyway. Either way, Carl Langdon.
Langdon long towards half forward. Jackson down there. Appear to be held. Thompson behind though. It's got a marvellous game. Salmon is at left half back. Plays on by hand. Essendon running everywhere. Izard, defensive side of centre wing. Kicks towards half forward. Harvey almost the one-hander. McKenna in the grasp. Keane too slow. Langdon kicks it long but high, and that favours Salmon. Salmon has it at left half back.
Salmon everywhere. He seems to be. I'm sure most of the West Coast Eagles players would agree with that. Terry Danaher kicks to centre wing. Spawn couldn't take the mark. Might have got a free kick. If there was one, the advantage rule has already been played. Anderson at right half forward for the Bombers. Centering kick. Darren Buick caps it down. O'Donnell runs into an open goal and hits the post. Maybe that's the first thing that's gone right for the West Coast Eagles today.
Should have done better, shouldn't he?
Well, he could have run a lot further too. He didn't realise he was 10 metres in the clear. Could have had a bounce and made a certainty of that one.
Under 15 minutes left in the quarter. Another good one for Essendon. Bremen. Towering kick. We spoke about his kicking ability in the first quarter. And Mainwaring, their only goal kicker so far. With 1.5 eyes, it would appear, after their clash with Mark Harvey. David Hart at right half forward flank. Anderson went for Buick but missed him. And the rebounding of Essendon brilliant today. Thompson. Grenvold with McKenna. Grenvold does it easily. The Eagles at the fall of the ball here. Worsfold. His cut was ineffective. Watson. Kick it. Well, squat clean bowled. Salmon. Here's a goal coming up to Harvey. Harvey's first goal, and Essendon streets ahead of the Eagles. They cracked the half century, 8-2 to 1-2.
Well, it's nothing more than a training gallop at the moment for the Bombers. Well on top. The West Coast Eagles making plenty of mistakes. Not the side they were last week. They were tremendous against Melbourne. Phil Scott completely clean bowled by that one. And Paul Salmon, the player behind, getting the hand pass to Mark Harvey. Very easy goal.
Well, last season the Eagles were humiliated by Essendon at Windy Hill. They kicked just one goal. It's 8-2 to 1-2 at the present time. Keane, little dexterity there, a high kick, knocked on by Lewis. A lot of Eagles around the ball. Langdon away to Heady, outside the 50. Ball Essendon back. Will it bounce through for a goal? Yes, it will. The second is on the board. Heady gets the goal, and it's 2-2 to 8-2.
Well, that's their only hope, really, the West Coast Eagles, to get the ball moving quickly out of the centre of the ground from the ruck contest. Laurie Keane, on that occasion, was a player, did better in the centre square. And Brett Heady, the running players, had plenty of space on their forward line to work in there. Brett Heady, the running player, finishing it off.
Can that lift them? A long way to come back. Madden up on the ball now, and Keane. Madden decisively. Grenvold smothered off the boot. Kemp at close quarters. Worsfold in trouble. Kept his head well. Bremen to Hart. Hart drives it long through centre wing. The two number 7s go at it. Chris Danaher did well. There's Derek Kickett, confronted by Sumich. Bad luck for Sumich. It hit his boot. An involuntary action and went out of bounds on the 4.
Nothing going right for the Eagles. Kickett's kick is short. Thompson playing a great game. Michael Long started on the bench but has done everything right since he came onto the ground. So too has Kickett. Two that were preferred to start on the sideline by Kevin Sheedy. Pack of players, none can mark it. Umpire says play on. Brennan does just that. Jackson on left centre wing. Well directed kick to Chris Lewis. Lewis on left centre wing. Sumich leads out. Ball dropped a little bit quicker than he thought. He had to take it low down, but he did well.
There's no doubt if they're given space, the West Coast Eagles, they could get back into this match, but the tackling from Essendon has been so good and so consistent in the first half of this match that the Eagles just haven't been allowed to play the game the way they like it, and that is in the open spaces.
Harvey off and Van der Hup. Sumich, perhaps on his non-preferred side of the ground. Accentuates the angle as he runs in, and consequently gets only one behind.
When he's kicking well, Peter Sumich is probably not a better kick in AFL football, but his action really with that swing out to the left, if he's not kicking it and timing it perfectly, his kicking can really deteriorate quickly.
Anthony Danaher to Thompson around Guy McKenna. Ball sits nicely for Pios. No one to give it to. Heady was pretty well covered, and he's kicked it straight back to Thompson. Disgraceful. It is nothing more than a training gallop. I saw a practice match Essendon played against Fitzroy, and there was more body contact than we're witnessing here this afternoon. The Eagles looking very jaded. Anthony Danaher kicks to centre field. Hamilton tackled by Pios. Back to O'Donnell. Quick kick. Cransburg could have raffled it between he and Grenvold. Kemp was what he should have taken. Van der Haar, as I said, just back onto the ground. Might have been lair-rising just a little bit there, Van der Haar. Not a good hand pass. It lets Jackson in. Goes for distance with the kick. Got a lot of height as well. Langdon not interfered with, but no mark either. Socket away by Heady. Back to Laurie Keane. Spiral punt kick, covers a good 60 metres. Sumic and Anthony Danaher. Is that a free kick? Chris Danaher breaks clear. Had 9 possessions in the first quarter. Krensberg on left centre wing as the Bombers go forward again.
Kransberg down towards the attacking 50. Salmon the target, fisted away by Scott. Knocked on by Turner cleverly. Worsfold. And now Hart. Is it half back? Oh, very untidy hand pass directly to Anderson. Quick rebound opportunity now for the Bombers. The 2 men who started on the bench combine. Long gives it to Kicker. Long kick down towards full forward. Kemp over the top. Spawn's got the recovery. Close to the boundary line. Knocked away though by Hart. O'Donnell keeps it alive for the Bombers. In trouble, Vanderhaar. Down he went. And the ball spills out of bounds. So we've got a throw in. Just under 10 minutes till half time. Essendon dominating the air. Turner in trouble. Worsfold likewise. Well played by Vanderhaar. Buick to kick it. This will be a goal. Kick it from 40 metres out.
First goal to Garrett Kickett. The Bombers streaming away. 9-2 to 2-3.
Well, again, the Essendon tackling setting up that goal. A couple of good tackles, one on Dean Turner, the other one on Worsfold. And it's very important for the forwards, in this case the Essendon forwards, putting the pressure on the West Coast Eagles defence, not allowing them to run out of defence easily, and consequently the ball spilling to kick it for that goal.
6 Essendon players have kicked their 9 goals, 56 players 15, a one-horse race in the preliminary final. Chris Lewis, towering punt kick to centre half forward for the Eagles. They need one here. Hand pass out to Sumic from Jackson. Terry Danaher. Over the head of Kransberg. It'll bounce nicely for him, will it? Yes, ultimately. Goes for the boundary line, not too many other options. Madden lopes after it, Waterman beats him to it, but the boundary line too close for him likewise. And a throw in to follow, and with 9 minutes left in the half. Laurie Keane and Simon Madden. Keane wins it. No crunners there for the Eagles though. Oh, pinched by Carl Langdon, beautifully done. Langdon kicking from right on 50. Flat punt, gets the desired result. Great play, Langdon. Best from the Eagles so far today.
Right, great play there by Carl Langdon. Great anticipation there, stealing the ball out of the Essendon defender's hands virtually. And maybe that's the type of play that could give the spark to the West Coast Eagles. But look at that steal. The handball meant for Chris Danaher. Carl Langdon chipping in and having a kick from about 50 metres out. And that's about the first bit of good play from the West Coast Eagles for the day.
Yes, you can't coach that. That was instinctive by Carl Langdon. 9-2 to 3-3. Just over 8 minutes remaining till half-time. Madden back over his head. Spawn still with a run of it. Taken high. Must get a free kick. Advantages paid. Anderson from about 60 metres out. Missed kicks. How will it bounce? It'll run for a goal. The quick reply. The 10th is on the board for the Bombers. They lead 10-2 to 3-3.
Inspired football by the Bombers. And again, winning the ball out of the centre where it's so very important. Bomber Thompson's done a great job today on Chris Lewis. The free kick was paid there. Anderson with space to run into, a long kick, no one in defence, and there it is tumbling through for that goal.
Greg Anderson, the 7th Essendon player to score goals today. A real team effort from the Bombers. Under 8 minutes left before half-time. 41 points the difference. Can the Eagles get a reply to that one? Anderson's came pretty quickly after Langdon had booted the superb goal at the other end. Here's Anderson again, taking the hand pass. One of the Brownlow favourites. Kicks to half forward. Turner looking for a free kick. And justifiably could have got one. One of the oldest players on the Eagles side. Dean Turner from centre half back. Langdon tries to mark one-handed. Hamilton runs off. Kransberg has it knocked away from him. Madden to Anderson to Lewis. Well tackled. Couldn't get it to Mainwaring. Kransberg went without it. Out comes Lewis. How did he get that? Brilliant stuff from Chris Lewis to Brett Heady. 55 metres out. Would need to be a long kick to score from there. Jackson at the back marks. Just a little bit of a nudge on Terry Danaher. But that was enough to get two hands on the ball. Danaher has a few words.
They have shown a bit in this last 5 or 10 minutes, the West Coast Eagles. Little nudge out from Steve Jackson, who played very well last week, very strong overhead.
Jackson from 15 metres out has put it through for a goal. So a little bit better from the Eagles. They still trail 10-2 to 4-3.
There's still a long way to go, but at least some of their more brilliant players getting into the action. Langdon kicking that previous goal, and Chris Lewis in a lot of trouble here. Somehow found his way out of it, picked up the ball in a flash. He was up on his feet. Brilliant balance, that boy. There's a long hand pass out. Heady into the goal square, little nudge, and a much more promising build-up for the Eagles.
10-2 to 4-3. Back in the middle. Just over 6.5 minutes till half-time. Madden indecisively. Mainwaring does well in a tight situation. He's tried very hard, Mainwaring. Long kick intended for Jackson. Chris Danaher leads back in the race. It's out of bounds and will be thrown in.
Probably should have went more direct from that kick, Mainwaring, but the lead was to the pocket. It would have been far better to have gone direct into the goal square, but he did honour the lead, at least from Steve Jackson.
Throw in, right full forward. Jackson and Salmon. Jackson, clean possession, snaps. Misses by a long way, out of bounds on the full.
10 possessions, Jackson, Dennis.
Yes, had plenty of the ball in that first quarter. Plenty of it, and kept it for a long time. Anthony Danaher hugs the boundary line with a kick. Salmon, Watson. Been reasonably quiet, telling hand pass though. Good shepherd by Spawn, releases this man Buick. Confronted, scrambles a kick across to Long, on centre wing, back to Watson. What will he do? A second bounce, run down from behind. It was good chase by Turley. The kick comes in short. Madden didn't mark it. Pios, Worsfold, and the Eagles bring it away. This is Turner.
Dean Turner's kick to left centre wing. Oh, is that a free kick? Begovic runs after the ball, but it will be relayed back, and the free kick will be taken on left centre wing by Brett Heady.
In fact, it was Kemp who did the chase that brought Watson down. It was a great effort.
Fine tackle, wasn't it? So Brett Heady at left centre wing with 5 minutes remaining before half-time. If the Eagles can get another couple of goals, be more than handy. Laurie Keane was the target, couldn't drag it down. That's a free kick going Essendon's way.
Oh, that's a strange one.
That will be taken by Paul Salmon, who kicks out wide effectively. Danaher tries to run off the ball. That's Terry Danaher. Could have got himself into some trouble. He has all the time in the world to get clear. From the centre circle and kicks well to half forward. The mark taken by Kieran Spawn. Too far out to score. Right half forward flank, about 70 metres from goal. Madden the target, went up one-handed, and then he got back to mark it. Scott nearly pinned likewise with it. Underneath it now, but umpire Brian Sheehan has decided it will be a ball up 40 metres out from the Bomber goal. Under 5 minutes left in the half. Mark Harvey looks on interestedly. Been on and off the ground a couple of times today. 62 to 27 in the preliminary final. Won by Long to kick it. The two that started on the bench. Good bump by Kemp. Ultimately wins the ball for Brennan. I think touched off the boot. The umpire did say play on. Hart. A good knock away, but it's picked up by Kickett. Relays it to Anderson. Just a little bit too far for him. Mainwaring, good pace. Good tackle by Anderson, who wins the ball himself. Shepherded by Grenville. But a bad hand pass. Good interception by Laurie Keane, and a fine balk by the big fellow. Can he kick a goal?
Oh.
Fine pass will put it down to.
Well, a couple of the best tackles you'd ever see there. The first one by Greg Anderson, and then finished off with Laurie Keane. Very deft for a big man with that balk around his opponent. I think it was Grenville, the player he got around, and good vision as well.
Peter Sumic for his first goal, low trajectory punt, and gets it. Sumic's first goal The Eagles coming a little bit closer, 10-2 to 5-3.
This has been a much better quarter for the West Coast Eagles. They started off very slowly, but the last 10 to 15 minutes is slowly working their way back into the match. There's that first tackle from Greg Anderson. Now look at this tackle. Who applied that tackle? I think it was Heady, the player who applied that tackle. A great tackle by Heady. And big Laurie Keane just didn't blaze away. He saw the lead from Sumich and perfect delivery.
Eagles trying very hard. 3 minutes to go till half-time. Thompson's in front, slaps it out wide. If the Eagles can get the next goal and maybe restrict Essendon to no more before half-time, it still could be interesting. Begovic crashing through, scrambled out of there around the outer side by O'Donnell, and now with Bremen. Only as far as Kransberg. High kick, close to the boundary line. Brennan did well, reaching over the top of Van der Haar and getting it out of bounds. 10-2 to 5-3. Down to 2:25 remaining in the half. Van der Haar, almost clean possession, dragged off it, picked up by Turner. High kick towards centre wing. Keane up very high. Kransberg has played well in this term. Good kick. It had to be. It found Harvey. Little chip pass over the top. Watson flirts with the idea of running on, then holds up. Too far out to score. He'll kick from about 65 metres. Goes short. Anderson. He could score from here. He's kicked 1 goal in this term. The 86 McGarry medalist from right on the 50. Pulls it to the right and misses. Minor score 10-3 to 5-3. 1:30 remaining in the half.
30 points the difference. At quarter time it was 17 points in favour of Essendon. They stretched that a lot more early in this quarter, but the Eagles have come back well after being well out of it. Bremen, a late replacement for Malesso, can take his place in the side. There's a cloud under this fellow too, or over this fellow, Guy McKenna. Chris Danaher applies the tackle. Brennan to Bremen, who kicks long. Thompson and Lewis. Good tackle by Lewis. Thompson still wins possession, slaps it out. Buick robes it nicely. Kransberg lost his footing at the most inopportune time. Kick it. Measures the hand pass to Long, who gets around Langdon. Salmon from a standing start. Up to half forward. Madden has it punched away. Bremen. Oh, bad hand pass. Izard steadies, shoots, and goals. Alan Izard second, and just what the Eagles didn't want. 11-3 to 5-3, 6 goals the difference.
Oh, that's for sure, Peter. Terrible mistake there by Bremen in defence. Had plenty of time. There's no pressure on him when he was giving that handball. Here's the build-up to this goal. As we see, the West Coast Eagles look all set to take it out of defence. Bremen takes possession. Terrible hand pass meant for Pios over the top. And, well, they just can't afford to make those sort of mistakes if they're going to get back into this match.
Well, it all turned sour, really, as a result of the kick-in. It wasn't a good one. Heady had given a very good lead to the other side of the ground. This is Buick away from the centre again. Oh, what a mark. What a mark by Paul Van der Haar.
Yes, that was Paul Van der Haar at his best. He's hurt himself, though. I think he hit his head on the ground. Yes, hit it very heavily on the ground, Paul Van der Haar. Threw himself without fear at that mark. Let's have a look at that again from a different angle. That was a fantastic mark. He's really hurt himself when he hit the surface here at VFL Park or AFL Park. It's much harder than it has been in the last few weeks.
Still VFL Park, Bernie, I'm told.
VFL Park, okay, Pete.
You should have told him it was harder before and not after the dive. Game number 201 for Paul Van der Haar. What a classic. He's thrilled us so many times, and that was vintage.
I think he's had sorer heads in the past, Dennis.
Incidentally, Bremen off the ground after that mistake, and Waterman back on.
Anderson's got the ball. Van der Haar seems to be okay.
Clock has been stopped. 21 seconds remaining in the half.
Bit of skin off on the shoulder. (11-3 to 5-3). Van der Haar needs It's a good kick from here. Deserving of a goal. Hoists it very high. That's a bad kick. And Turley takes the mark in the pocket. Craig Turley battling the flu. There's the siren. It's half-time at VFL Park. And Essendon have a commanding lead. It's 11-3-69 to 5-3-33.
Salmon, Bremen, McKenna. Buick on top of it. Could be almost holding the ball, that. The umpire says no, especially as there was no appeal from any of the West Coast Eagles, maybe surprisingly. And Buick hands it back. Carey puts it down. Salmon again. Slaps it out. Izzard can't get clear. In fact, he's been penalised for holding the ball. And the free kick will go to Dean Turner.
Tremendous tackle there by Dean Turner. He pinned Izzard's arm and he had no other option. Had to be a holding the ball decision.
Anderson, one-handed. Nearly marked it. That was a great effort. Heady. Further forward again for Mainwaring, who kicked the first goal today for the West Coast Eagles, as he did last week. Langdon a good hip and shoulder to take his opponent out of it. That was Grenvold. But still they fumble. Kemp finally. Or Langdon with courage. Back with the flight of the ball. Heady again. One of their best players. And Danaher simply too tall. Anthony Danaher. To Thompson. Left half-back flank. Good long clearing kick. Langdon still down, looking back, and the trainers over there are calling for a stretcher, I think.
He's in a lot of trouble, I think, Pete. He hasn't moved, Carl Langdon.
Let's see what happened. I said courage when he went for the ball, and he gets collected here.
I think Terry Danaher's hip.
No, was he unconscious? We'll have to wait on that one. Ball in the meantime back on centre wing. It's out of bounds. The stretcher is out. And that means play will be halted because it's on the ground now. And in fact, the umpire raising his arm to indicate time on with 23 minutes left in the quarter. And Carl Langdon still hasn't moved. That's a real savage blow for the West Coast Eagles. One of their more dangerous forwards.
I think that is the problem, Pete, was Terry Danaher coming through there, completely accidental. But I think his hip did connect with the side of Carl Langdon's head.
Yes, the point of the hip, I think. Just watch it again.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
And there's just no coverage on that bone. It's all bone.
Tremendous courage, though, there shown by Carl Langdon. Putting himself, he's in an impossible position. He had to go for it. But that's a bad loss to the West Coast Eagles because Carl Langdon had been playing well. He's a player with plenty of spark. He can kick goals on the run or from a set position. And just probably too courageous for his own good there.
Lockyer getting ready to come on.
Suffice to say, I don't think he saw Danaher coming at all. He knew out of the corner of his eye there was somebody not too far from him. And Carl Langdon, I would say, probably just regaining consciousness.
Yeah, I think he was knocked out before he hit the ground, Dennis.
Yes, they're taking all care now as they must.
A lot of strife. Let's hope there's no neck damage from that very nasty knock. Nothing against Terry Danaher. He had to go for it as well. Completely accidental. Terry Danaher going for the ball. It's one of those things in a body contact sport. Carl Langdon was caught in an impossible position, just going back with the flight of the ball, not sure where it was. And Terry Danaher also going for the ball. So just a terrible accident there, but Carl Langdon coming off second best. Let's have a look at it again. Just watch the ball all the way down Carl Langdon. And Terry Danaher also, he didn't attack Carl Langdon, he was only attacking the ball.
It's a game that requires great courage, doesn't it, Australian rules?
Certainly is.
Langdon showing it there. I was just talking to some guys from an American television station at half-time. They're going around the world doing documentaries on various sports, and they'd intended to come for the grand final. They've come for this one instead, and we were talking about the courage required, and if they had their cameras rolling there. Marvellous example, but he's paid the price, Carl Langdon.
Still seems to be out to it too, Langdon. Now play won't restart until the stretcher is off the ground itself, not just over the boundary line.
Yes, he's still out to it completely as he's taken up the race.
Play restarts with a boundary throw in. Still 36 points the difference.
Keane and Salmon battle. Salmon wins it down, taken by Turley. Let's see which side recovers best after that. Danaher. Terry Danaher does well. Centering kick, but gives it away. Mainwaring taken late. His eye is closed. This is Turley. And that closed eye for Mainwaring. The result of a collision. Another accident. A clash of heads earlier in the game. Mark Harvey ran into him. Now we'll have a ball up about 40 metres out from the Eagles' attacking goal. They trail 5-3 to 11-3. And we've got just under 22 and a half minutes remaining in the third term. A glorious day in Melbourne. Hardly any breeze. Maybe freshening just a little bit. Favouring Essendon at the moment. This is Jackson. Missed it. Anderson did well to Spawn. The two South Australians combined. Spawn swings it out wide, intended for Madden. Knocked away by Scott. Van der Haar shrugs the Turner tackle. He's still going, Van der Haar. Chips inside the 50. Well taken on the half volley by Watson to Wizard. And he's kicked it behind.
Build-up certainly worth more than that. 11-4 to 5-3. Michael Roberts, news on Carl Langdon.
Carl Langdon was taken straight off the ground, not through the interchange, so he's off for the rest of the time. Severe concussion, had blood coming from his mouth and his nose.
Bremen kicks to Mainwaring on the right half-back flank for the Eagles. You can see a pretty fair mouse under that eye there. There'll be a few ice packs on the plane back tonight for the Eagles, as I'm told is the norm anyway, but there might be a few more. Boundary throw it on centre wing. 21.5 minutes left in the quarter. 36 points the difference at half-time. The Bombers have improved that by 1. So if the Eagles are to get back, they've got to make a few moves quickly. Salmon hoiks it over the top. Mainwaring ridden into the ground again. O'Donnell likewise. That should be a free kick.
Well, they missed the first one there, Pete. There was a free quick kick there to Chris Mainwaring, which the umpire didn't pay.
Play on. O'Donnell does. Thompson. Cransberg. Another hand pass. Terry Danaher. Madden. A little bit too low for the big fellow. Watson, always dangerous. McKenna. There's going to be a free kick here as the ball is picked up by Scott. It will go to Guy McKenna. Gets it over to Turner. Turner from the left half-back flank. 45-metre kick. Just off the centre square. This is Kemp. Brings it across the ground. Turley. A couple of fingernails to it. That was all. Spawn. Back it comes to Salmon, seemingly with plenty of time, unloads, long kick down towards full forward. Scott fists clear, long, back to Anderson from a standing start, and the snapshot is off target. Nearly bounces, a real off break, and one behind. So 38 points the difference, 20 minutes left in the term.
It's a thin line between a good day and a bad day, and the Eagles getting some half chances in the last 5 minutes, and they haven't taken them. Last week they did. Worsfold, not a good option, kicks it straight to Anderson. Anderson goes short. Madden, awkward half volley. Now he's in trouble. Manning's got it from right half forward. Untidy kick, charged down by Mainwaring. Van der Haar on the half forward flank, still going. Centering kick straight to Keane. A game of mistakes. Essendon not playing well. The Eagles playing even worse. O'Donnell. Dragged down. Eddie's got it now. Sweeping hand pass. Lewis waited for it to bounce. He's still got some time. Hand passes back, conceding some ground to Heady. This is Kemp. Kemp goes short. Sumic on the lead. Good mark.
And a very good lead too from Peter Sumic.
Sumic will kick from about 45 metres out. Awkward angle.
He offered that lead almost immediately, didn't wait.
Almost in the identical spot that Langdon went down. Carl Langdon off the ground unconscious. Sumic. Good looking kick. It's home.
Sumic is second. First for the quarter. Scoreboard showing 11-5 to 6-3.
Well, I feel if they can get the next goal, the West Coast Eagles, they could be in this match with a chance. 5 goals down, but Essendon aren't really dominating. Peter Sumic kicking much better on that occasion, timed the ball perfectly off the boot. The West Coast Eagles starting to do much better around the centre of the ground. If they can keep that up, the next goal very important. Sumic's second goal and the 6th for the West Coast Eagles.
Salmon. Knock on by Hart. Kick it. Beautifully done. Great skills by this fellow. Kicks to half forward. And even further towards goal. Madden tries to shuffle it out the back. Chance for a snapshot from Spawn. And he's missed to the right-hand side, registering only one behind. The third this quarter for the Bombers. 11-6 to 6-3. 39 plays 72. Mark Harvey, who's been on and off the ground all day, preparing to come back on. 18 minutes left in the third quarter. The Eagles can get the next couple of goals. Could make things interesting. Turley gathers well at right half back for the West Australians. Short pass, effective to Kemp. Over the head of Watson. To Laurie Keane. Goes for distance with the kick. Mainwaring shows best judgment of all. I don't think it was touched. And umpire Carey has paid him the mark. Now he's got to play on. Grenvald's got him. Great tackle. Kemp sockers it clear of O'Donnell. Only to see Watson pick it up. Watson with plenty of time again to half forward. Marking contest. Unplayed long. Great pace. Gets clear of the pack. Plenty of time and dobs it. Long's first goal. Bomber fans are happy. The Bombers 12-6 to 6-3. The fight at the other end of the ground, a long way from the action. Pretty fair to say that's off the ball.
Yeah, hardly worthwhile worrying about that one, but Chris Mainwaring, tremendous courage to take the mark, but again the West Coast Eagles just making the crucial mistake there, which allowed the Essendon side to rebound down the ground, and on so many occasions they've made the Eagles pay dearly for these mistakes. Handball, marking mistakes, and on that occasion a play on.
Back in the middle, Watson appeared to be limping to me after that last exchange. Groin. Meantime, Lewis has the ball. Hate to be alarmist. Lewis towards half forward. Brennan takes the mark. Brennan, 60 metres out from goal. Simic on the lead. Well, give them their due. They keep on coming, the West Coast Eagles.
I don't think they'll lay down, Dennis. There's a bit of spirit in this side, as they've shown over the last couple of weeks in the finals. Peter Simic, if he can get his right kicking boot on and start slotting a few through the middle when the Eagles aren't out of it.
Kicking at his third. Close. This is to the near side. They needed that one. 12-6 to 6-4. Paul van der Haar. Terry Danaher kicks in. Spawn's in front. Too easy. Spawn plays on. Runs wide of the man on the mark. Kicks towards centre field. Ill-directed. Lewis. Beaten by Thompson today. He's tried hard. Swings it out wide. Mainwaring leads back in the race off. Very clever. Tried to get it to Brennan. But Anderson, with blistering speed, hard against the boundary line. Brilliant play. Greg Anderson finds Izard. That was inspirational stuff. Now Izard's away. Mainwaring in pursuit. Lewis comes across. Forced the error. McKenna takes the mark.
Guy McKenna short of left centre wing. In front, Izard again. Gets the ball to the ground. Lewis beats him to it. Around Grenvald. Short pass. Anderson's there. Has the ball on a string, beats two of them. Harvey past him. Lockyer. Heady. Pound for pound, probably the Eagles' best player at the moment. Certainly doing a lot of good work. Terry Danaher.
Got the right option there from Heady. Three Essendon players there in the area that Heady kicked to.
Kick number 16 for Terry Danaher, who usually leads by example. Former captain, of course, at Essendon. Mainwaring. Tidy play at left centre wing. Salmon, too tall. Short pass. Mark Harvey just outside the square, grabbing it in front of Lewis. Goes out wide. Simon Madden the target. And/or Buick. Madden turns on a threepenny bit. Kick it. Went for the knock on. Now he gathers it in himself. Around Keane. Snapshot for goal. He might have put it through. He has. Great shot. Full points. Well, it's coming back.
I think there's a free kick to Michael Long behind play. Hard to understand why the umpire wouldn't play the advantage on that occasion.
Probably thought it was going to go out of bounds.
Difficult position, right on the boundary line. He kicked the last goal. Goes for a short pass. Salmon. Probably further out, but a little bit better the angle. Salmon's already kicked 2 goals this afternoon. He's been a brilliant player for the Bombers, as I think we would have expected. 17 possessions to Salmon. Out of bounds already.
Story of Derek Kickett's life, really. Should have won the Sandover medal in 1987. Should have had the goal of the day today.
Well, the crowd showing their feelings. They've really given the umpire something after that decision not to allow the advantage to be paid.
Wasn't it a great goal? Scott towards Heady, or non-goal. Watson in trouble. Collision with Turley. Well done by Turley. Stood his ground. Begovic. Brennan, right half forward. Spears the pass in for Sumich. Great kick, great lead.
Magnificent play by the Eagles. They've shown a lot in this quarter. Down and out in that first half, but they've stuck to their guns.
12-7 to 6-4. He'll kick from just inside the 50. Question of accuracy. It's deserted him. Another behind.
Well, he's kicked 2 goals, 4 and 1 out of bounds on the full. And they're the sort of shots that you would expect Peter Sumich to kick.
To get back into this game, they've got to make the most of every opportunity. Here's Terry Danaher, the veteran. Goes towards the outer side. Anthony under the ball, that's his brother. And Brennan takes the mark. And it's paid. Brennan on the forward line, goes short to the pocket. Jackson, did he interfere? No, not according to the umpire.
Outbodied, I think you call that, Dennis.
Is that what it is, Bernie?
If you're kind.
Thank you for the explanation.
Terry Danaher can't believe it, still shaking his head.
He doesn't think he was outbodied. There's Jackson, he'll kick from about 25 metres out. So the Eagles need this one. The hopes of an entire state riding on this kick. They've got to get some goals now, and they've got to get them quickly. Jackson deliberately hits the post. It's been that sort of week.
Certainly has reflected on the face of Nick Malthouse. 79 to 42. 37 points the difference. It was 36 at half time, so they've lost little so far in this quarter, but that's not going to win them the match. Salmon in front. Punches the ball to the rear. Down goes Mainwaring and Cransberg, and it's going to be a West Australian free kick. The Eagles, Chris Mainwaring will take it. You can see the ball with 1.5 eyes.
Oh,
That's out of bounds on the full, or did it just bounce on the line?
bit happening off the ball, Pete, I'm sorry. Kickett and Worsfold and Chris Danaher getting involved.
Just off the edge of the square. Nice headlock, down they go.
Worsfold has chased Chris Danaher for about 60 metres.
Becoming rather interesting down there. I don't really watch the fight of the play. I'll go back to Jackson, who kicks at goal. That'll go pretty close, but not close enough. That's out of bounds too. So it will be thrown in. The fight's being broken up. I don't think any damage done. And a boundary throw in right next to the behind post in the Eagles' right forward pocket. And they need some goals quickly in this quarter. We've only got, well, under 11 minutes left now. Salmon in front and wins out. Izard almost held when not in possession. Turner puts the head down to try to barge through. Didn't have any success. And may have been lucky not to be penalised. The umpire decides on the bounce. Waterman is last to get up. Bounce will take place 20 metres from goal. Goal's hard to come by in the third term. Salmon again slaps it down. Tries to find Cransberg. The The boundary line is too close, and Waterman sees it over.
Carl Langdon's okay, and that's great news. 37 points the difference. Langdon won't be back. Brennan. Thompson does well in a tight situation. Kicks back towards half-back. Hart with dash, confronted by Izzard. Mainwaring at the base of the pack yet again. And we've got a ball up.
Spoilt the hairdo.
Keane and Salmon. Keane wins it. Anderson, unkind bounce. Mainwaring left it behind. Grenvold. Now O'Donnell, deep in his own defensive area, pulls it back towards the centre square. Begovic didn't have the ball, must get the free kick. So the Eagles certainly getting the best of the whistle today. That kick was there, but they would lead the free kicks. Begovic too close to the man on the mark, or was he? No, 50.
I thought actually Begovic ran far too close to the man on the mark.
So 50 metres against Derek Kickett. And Tony Begovic will kick from 20 metres out directly in front.
The free kicks one more, Dennis, in favour of the Eagles, 17-60.
They were behind at half-time, weren't they? Marginally, I think.
What's his goal kicking like, Dennis?
I'll tell you in a minute. He's having a bit to say. Not so good, Bernie. Begovic misses. Well, hard to win the game when you miss them from there, and they've missed a lot in this quarter. They're peppering the goals. 12-7 to 6-7. Anthony Danaher straight down the middle. Madden's the target. Keane behind on his chest, if you don't mind.
Now he booted one here last week from a similar position, going to the other end goal. Doesn't quite get the distance. Sumich in front. Danaher doesn't get a good bounce. Kemp dragged to the ground by O'Donnell. Great tackle. Thompson looks for Hamilton. Finds him. Madden with speed. The veteran. Past Turner. Chance for Mainwaring. Shows them how it's done. Right on 50. Kicks long. He'll get the distance, but not the accuracy. And a mark taken right at the last line of defence by Anthony Danaher. Left back pocket. Up to his brother Chris, who had 9 possessions in the first quarter. From the boundary line. In fact, hugs the boundary line with the ball. And it beats Buick over the line. 8 minutes left in the term. The Eagles doing well up forward, better up forward this quarter, but they haven't been able to convert. And you can see in the air and around the ground, in that statistic at least, they've done better. But it's not on the scoreboard. Keane and Madden by the Essendon giant. Long, just about thrown out to Izzard. High kick, travels only 25 metres. Oh, courage shown by McKenna to take the mark. And good judgment, I might add. Terry Danaher in front of Jackson. Played a great game today. Izzard, a nice balk. Did well in the end. Centering kick. Big pack of players. Knock it down to Lewis. Around Thompson, who certainly had the better of him in the first half. And Brennan takes the mark a long way from goal. 60 to 65 metres out. Couldn't score from there. A wall of Essendon players, and Izzard the first to get back to take the easiest of marks. Thompson, superb game. I'm glad I said that. He's put it out of bounds on the foot.
Well, a few mistakes have crept into the Essendon game in this third quarter as well, mainly because of the pressure that's been applied by the Eagles. They've had the ball on their forward line most of this quarter.
Mainwaring pumps it back in. The Eagles dominating general play now. Anthony Danaher knocks it out of bounds.
And not getting it on the scoreboard, Jeff. Only 1 goal for the quarter. Many opportunities. Peter Sumich was kicked 2 behind. Steve Jackson hit the post. And Begovic missed an easy chance.
Jackson going nowhere. Buick taken late. Must be a relayed free kick. Harvey has it on the outer side. Buick collected after he kicked the ball. Harvey, untidy looking kick down towards Watson. Behind Pios. McKenna. Long's a great tackler, applied strong pressure there. Worsfold towards McKenna. He's favouring that arm, McKenna. across to Pios. That had to be holding the ball. I thought momentarily he must have been out of bounds because there was a late whistle. It's a free kick to Long after what was a fine tackle.
He's nearly as good a tackler as Tony Liberatore, Michael Long.
Two of the smallest players in the league. Chris Danaher to Anderson has been strong today. Anderson in front of Madden, couldn't quite get there. Scott too agile, hand passes to his own advantage, keeps it in, kicks towards half-back and Kemp, who's tried hard. Kemp, with his side trailing by 6 goals and now 50 metres against O'Donnell.
Simon Madden will be asking why didn't he get one last week, if we cast our minds back in the Derek Kickett incident. Different game, maybe different rules. Anyway, that's history.
Same rules, different umpires.
True, Dennis. Kemp's kick, short pass to right half forward. He's got the result he wanted. An Eagles mark taken by Brennan. Too far out to score, one would suggest. He's right on the boundary line. Where's Sumich? 2-on-2 down there on the goal square. That'll be a free kick against Sumich. It'll be taken by Anthony Danaher.
Yeah, ridiculous free kick there. Peter Sumich just didn't look at the ball at all. He just went for Anthony Danaher. He was caught out of position, but he should have had a check to see in what position the ball was before giving away that free.
So the Danaher boys, noticeable by their excellence this afternoon. Salmon missed a mark. I think we should call a press conference for that. Kransberg soccers off the ground, close to the boundary line. Thompson has taken it out, and also one of the West Coast players in Turley, boundary throw-in. Long way from the Eagles' goal, 4.5 minutes left in the term.
There's our scoreline. Salmon wins it down. Turley stood his ground. Initially was taken high and then held the ball. The tackle slipping over the shoulder momentarily, but it was a strong tackle by Izzard.
Yeah, good tackle. They've been relentless, really, both sides with their tackling.
Izzard squares the ball. Harvey's got it now inside the centre square. Kicks down towards the attacking 50. Madden under the ball. Spawn, who can really run. He's got it 40 metres out. Vacant goal square. How will it bounce? The wrong way for the Bombers. They've perfected the wrong and as a team. 12-8 to 6-7.
It's only 1-6 for the Bombers this quarter, so really the West Coast Eagles had most of the play, and Essendon starting to miss.
Kransberg is off. Vanderhaar is on. And now Bremen comes on. And I think it's Waterman who's off. Meantime, Scott sends play towards the centre wing, only as far as Salmon. Short to Kickett, left unattended. Kickett gets the hand pass to Izzard, who runs to the 50. Again a vacant goal square. Izzard put down by Turner. The ball's gone through for a behind. Turner's not popular. And the goal umpire awaiting the all clear.
That was very late, Dennis. Very late by Dean Turner.
That's the second one in this quarter on those small Essendon players. Initially Buick got one in the back pocket. Now Izzard on the attacking 50. Bombers showing a bit of spirit there to get across and support their teammate.
There's a kick from Alan Izzard. Dean Turner, I don't think he connected with anything too bad on Izzard. I think he'd be okay.
Surprised to say he'll get another kick.
It's a report though.
Dean Turner's been reported for that incident.
It was very untidy, wasn't it?
It was untidy. It was late. Sometimes you're not too sure whether a player is committed, whether he can stop or not. But I don't think it was reportable.
1-5 to 1-4, the scoreline in this quarter. Goals hard to come by. Izzard maybe just a little bit too far out. Drags it back a smidgen. That wasn't touched. It's a goal anyway. The Bombers, indeed, have the last laugh. 13-8 to 6-7 at VFL Park.
That's Alan Izzard's third goal. 2 goals in the second quarter, now 1 in this third quarter.
Actually, that's interesting, Bernie, because it does highlight a deficiency in the rules, doesn't it? There couldn't be a relayed free kick there because he had scored, and that's what Madden was arguing about, I think.
Yeah, correct. So anyway, it worked out better for the West Coast Eagles.
Alan Izzard's third goal. Back into the centre, just over 3 minutes left in this quarter. 86 to 43, so double the score. 43 points the difference in favour of Essendon. Begovic puts out the hand, gets away with the ball onto Guy McKenna. He's left of the square. Bremen marking in front. of Hamilton. Long kick. Playing in front is Anthony Danaher. Sumic looking back at the umpire for a free kick. Still not going his way. High tackle is going Essendon's. Play on as the call. O'Donnell will do just that. Gary O'Donnell from the true centre-half back position. Showing speed. Kick it. Can't take the grab. Ball slapped further forward. Thompson, one of the Bombers' best. A scramble. Turley did well to get a kick at it. And on to Chris Lewis. Around O'Donnell. Lovely balk. He's got speed, this boy. Lewis. Long kick. Not a tidy one, certainly. And it will be rushed through for one behind. There's still only one goal by the Eagles this quarter. They've had a lot of the ball, but as Bernie said earlier, they haven't been able to convert. And still 7 goals the difference. Paul Salmon coming off. And Peter Kransberg coming back on. Well, kicked back in by Watson. Bombers doing it with consummate ease at the moment. Madden decides to go for a run and kicks long to centre wing.
Van der Haar in from the side, forced to kick it. This is Grenvold. Long kick through centre wing. Clears McKenna. Kransberg gathered it nicely. Away to Anderson. He's 60 metres out from goal. He goes for distance. Danawood's full forward. Harder's going back and hit the post. I think the fact that Salmon's been taken off the ground uninjured indicates that Kevin Sheedy thinks it's going to be a Collingwood-Essendon grand final. Salmon, one of the few players in the Essendon side in form last week and again today. This is Pios in the back pocket. Salmon obviously doesn't need the work. This is Turner on report from half back. High kick towards centre wing. Keane outnumbered, gets it on the ground. Missed by Heady, taken by Long. With dash he comes away. Clever little chip. Anderson into open space. Good kick. Harvey takes the mark. Well, the Eagles attacked for a long time in this term for no return. You sense now that their resistance is ebbing away.
Yeah, they gave it all in the first half of this quarter, but they had their opportunities. Sumic couldn't find the big sticks.
Harvey misses to the near side. Well, it's a long time since Essendon and Collingwood played in the grand final.
1911.
1911, eh? Keane is off. Waterman is on. It's not to say it's lost quite yet for the Eagles, but it's a big ask. Here's David Hart to kick it in.
Hart goes to the outer side. Yes, under the present system of finals, which has operated since 1931. It's amazing to think that they've never met in that big day. Turner, as Dennis mentioned, on report. Getting nudged out of it was Mainwaring and then getting held, so the second infringement was picked up by the umpire.
He's tried his heart out, hasn't he, Chris Mainwaring?
Gave it everything.
Very good Eagles player.
Kick number 14. Kemp, who's also tried hard. Waterman, haven't seen that much of him today. Right on the boundary, there's the siren for three-quarter time. And Essendon, one would think, with an unbeatable lead. 13-10, 88, the West Coast Eagles, 6-8, 44. For one of these teams for season 1990, the last term of the 1990 preliminary final, 44 points the difference in favour of Essendon. The Bombers perhaps set for a place in the grand final against Collingwood next week. Izzard, who was taken out heavily late in the third quarter, resulting in a report on Dean Turner. He can't get into the action. Kick it can, and does. McKenna, grabbed high, short kick. Grenvold and Heady. And Grenvold will come out with a kick, a free kick at that. On to Watson. It's been his usual brilliant self. Spawn. Did get a heavy knock in the first quarter from John Worsfold, but he recovered from that and has done. Is still doing rather well. Hamilton loses out to Lewis. Hamilton taking it just a little bit too casually. Turner. It will be a Lewis kick. I don't know where he's kicked that. Goodness me. Madden in front. He certainly answered his critics today, Simon Madden, former captain of the club. Begovic, unable to do much with that. Watson again. Kemp in hot pursuit. O'Donnell. Kicks wide. McKenna leading long. And the ball over the boundary line in front of both of those players. We'll see a throw-in.
McKenna hasn't looked himself today, has he, Dennis? He's obviously not 100% fit. That elbow injury from last week has restricted him. He's been a brilliant player throughout the final series, but just not doing much today.
Scott and Madden kick it. O'Donnell. A high kick from that player. Travels only 30 metres. Anderson was the flyer. Knock on by Van der Haar. The idea was good. It's an Eagles ball, though, nonetheless. At half-back, Mainwaring gets it around two players. Not Anderson. Still inside the square. Shepherded by Van der Haar. Long kick by the South Australian. Cransberg in front. McKenna and Long once more. Thompson back to Long. And Long always dangerous right on the boundary line. Under pressure. The kick is high. Harvey, nearly a mark. It will be a goal.
His second goal. Essendon are 14-10 and one sense is in the grand final. The West Coast Eagles are 6-8.
There's 50-point advantage now to the Bombers. Excellent play on the boundary line by Michael Long. Pios just propped. Didn't attack the ball. Michael Long, the player, notice how he had a look there. He never wastes the ball. He just meant to put it in the goal square to give the Essendon forwards some sort of a chance, which Mark Harvey made the most of.
So the Bombers more than double the Eagles score. The ankle of Laurie Keane.
Walking wounded there.
14-10 to 6-8. Madden opposed to Scott. Lewis missed the ball. Grenvold scrambles it forward. Spawn across to Anderson, who's played a wonderful game. Long kick towards centre half forward. Pios, that's ambitious, but Pay claimed the mark. Swings it out wide. Heady, metres in the clear. Kemp comes to him. That's the direction the kick takes. Kemp has it forward at centre wing. Dean Kemp, one of the better Eagles today. Not a particularly good kick, that one, down towards the defensive 50 for Essendon. And it's out of bounds and will be thrown out. Todd Breman, not listed in the original 20. Replaced Molesso. Now the boundary throw in, the 227s. Jackson and Madden. Madden, who's been great today. Clean possession, then lost it. Izard goes off the ground. Kick it. Well played in there by Breman to trap it. Kick it now to Izard. Izard runs it towards midfield. Kicks towards half forward. Buick's in front. Knocked away by Hart. Two speedy customers. Former teammates in Western Australia. Buick can't keep it in. It'll be thrown in. The official attendance today, 55,813. Not a bad turnout. They've witnessed a rather disappointing game to my mind. Essendon will win and win convincingly. But one wonders about their ability to beat Collingwood on what we've seen today. Hart got it to Begovic. McKenna close to the boundary line. A high floating kick. There he is again. Madden. How many marks is that, Pete?
10. 10 marks, 17 possessions. He'll come in for kick number... he won't come in for kick number 13. But Madden, as I said earlier, certainly answering his critics. This is Kieran Spawn kicking to left half forward. Hart and Pios probably spoiled each other. Worsfold ultimately gets it back to David Hart, who's tried his heart out today. One of the goers that the Eagles have had. Anderson and Turley. Good block by Anderson. He's come out with the ball. That was well played. Danaher overruns it. He'll get a second bite at it to fire out the hand pass to Hamilton. It's a race here. Mainwaring in front with Hamilton.
Oh.
Izard. Good bump. Turley. Lewis. Oh, gets steamrolled by Watson.
Oh, what's that free kick for? I thought both players going for the ball.
Yep. It's a strange one.
Did he have the arm a little bit high? Let's have a look at this.
Well, maybe Watson wasn't.
Well, Tim Watson, I thought, entitled to go for that one.
A bit late, perhaps, Bernie. That's what the umpire has paid. Lewis takes the free kick on left centre wing. Not well delivered, especially with the position of the sun, and that's why Pios didn't mark it. The sun was right in his eyes. Buick on to kick it. Hart in pursuit. He's gone the long way around. Shades of last week. On to Chris Danaher, who started the game in brilliant fashion in the back pocket. Thompson from midfield. A good player all day for Essendon. Has found Watson. Marks in front of Brennan. Is he off? think so.
Oh, he thought about going over the top to Kransberg.
Watson, short pass, Harvey. Went up one hand, and they're rather hard to mark that way. Lockyer sees the ball over the boundary line for a throw-in, about 5 metres from the behind post.
You wouldn't want to be that man's insurance agent, would you? It'll be a tough afternoon of the footy every weekend.
94 to 44, 50 points the difference in favour of Essendon. They went in as warm favourites and they've played that way pretty well right from the start. The Eagles had problems all week. Kransberg has a snapshot for goal. Won't quite make the distance. Van der Haar should mark it. Should have marked. And Hart rushes one behind.
The free kick against Van der Haar, threw the ball out, scooped it out behind him, Pete. So free kick to the Eagles.
Cancelled the score. Vanders has a few words. Free kick taken by Begovic to the outer side. Harvey in front, comes out with the ball, not further afield. Out of his possession. McKenna, Turner, that's a trip by Brian Sheehan. Has seen that. The advantage rule is played. Turley, and a good mark was taken by Todd Breman. Just short of the right half forward flank.
Breman kicks inside the 50. Sirmich. Clever mark. It's kicked two.
Did he know he had it, Dennis, do you think?
Eventually.
Just stuck there, didn't it?
Eventually. He'll take a good kick from here, but he's done this before. Not a bad spot for him. Goes to the left, opens up the goal. That's close. He's missed again. So what's that, 2-5?
2-5 and one out of bounds on the full.
Terry Danaher to bring it in. 14-10 to 6-9. Main Waring keeps it alive and going the Eagles' way. Sirmich to Jackson, open goal, untidy defence. The Eagles get their 7.
Jackson's second goal. 7-9 to 14-10.
Maybe Essendon just relaxing a little bit mentally there. There's a kick out, Main Waring, who's battled hard all day. He's worked tirelessly for the West Coast Eagles. He set it up there, chipping in. Sumich also with good run over to that side of the ground and passing over to Stephen Jackson.
And Stephen Jackson, the second West Coast Eagles player to score 2 goals today. The other is Peter Sumich, who, as Bernie just told us, has been a trifle inaccurate today. 94, plays 51. Kick it from the centre circle. Doesn't quite get it to the edge of the square. A real scramble off the ground. Buick. Main Waring got a push in the back, and that's what the umpire has played. The free kick going to the West Coast Eagles. Chris Main Waring has done a great job today. Certainly under great difficulties, coming in for kick number 16. Certainly there'll be a bit of ice on that eye on the plane home tonight. McKenna at left half back. Well, 3 possessions and they've gained little for their efforts, the West Coast Eagles, and that's disappointing. McKenna again, off the ground this time, does get the ball a little bit further, knocked away by Grenville. Brennan runs into trouble. Anderson tries to beat him to it. Good hip and shoulder by Scott, opens it up for Chris Lewis. Lewis from left centre wing, fine smother by Grenville. Lewis again, take 2. Centering kick this time, not well delivered. Straight to Harvey. Van der Haar. Madden. Back to Van der Haar, who runs into a little bit of trouble. Out to Izzard. Long kick by Izzard, that's beautifully delivered. Pinpoint accuracy, and Hamilton has taken the mark.
Well done by Hamilton too, providing run out of the Essendon defence. Not great stats for Paul Hamilton, but he stuck to his task.
Now Izzard's a better, Bernie. 17 kicks and 1 hand pass. Been a very busy player, the man that got it to him. Hamilton, 40 metres out, pretty well directly in front. Drifts off a margin. 1 behind. Point to Essendon, which is, I suppose, academic at the moment because they're coasting along. 14-11 their score. And the West Coast Eagles still 7-9-51. 15.5 minutes left in this match. And as Todd Breman kicks in and again kicks in well.
In front, Scott. Now kick it. Tackled by Chris Lewis. Fair bit of skill there. Two former Claremont players. Anderson, only as far as Pios. Paul Pios, deep in his own defensive area. Untidy hand pass. McKenna under pressure as a result. As well.
Oh, that's a bad hand
Scott's
pass.
in trouble. It's all falling apart as far as the Eagles are concerned. A sad end to what's been a valiant dream. Kick it, not a good kick. Madden closing, but Pios takes the mark.
Very untidy, the West Coast Eagles today. Some of their hand passing to players under more pressure than the player giving out the hand pass.
They've never been sharp today. Brennan. Turley's in front. Awkward half volley. Grenvold. Still Grenvold. Well played. Gets by Brennan. Kept in play too. A centering kick. Fisted away down there by Lockyer. Michael Long. And now Lewis. Well done by Chris Lewis. Swings it out wide. Begovic controlled it well. No support at all. Begovic eventually forced to kick towards midfield. Kemp's in front. Takes the juggled mark.
Then one of their better players, Kemp, kicks out wide. This is Heady. Sumic leads out, but is beaten to it by Anthony Danaher. The hand pass comes back. Waterman looking for a free kick. Isn't it the greatest of days? Chris Danaher onto Buick. Essendon doing just enough. Thompson takes the mark. A play on call from the umpire. Thompson, no one really chasing. Anderson. That was behind play. Mainwaring was limping too. Izar. Nearly 20 kicks for him. That's been a splendid effort. Brennan. Up one-handed. It was Lockyer rather. To the edge of the square. There's Brennan now. O'Donnell. The hand pass out to Hart. But again, Essendon, the number. Buick. Around Waterman. Beautifully done. The Bombers finishing with plenty of run on their legs. Terry Danaher. In fact, it's like a practice match routine now. Manning takes the mark. Mainwaring. Sort of coloured jocks he's got there. The Eagles stripes underneath, it looks like. Terry Danaher. Out to kick it on his own. 50 metres out. Long kick. That'll go pretty close. Van der Haar flies. I think it might have just been touched. And one behind. So 14-12. The Bombers close to the ton. 7-9-51. The West Coast. Essendon looking to the grand final next week against the Magpies. Can they reverse the result of last week?
Well, they're toying with the Eagles at the present time. This is Heady. Out against the boundary line. 14-12 to 7-9. Kemp pushed in the back, was he? Not according to the umpire. Out of bounds on the full, in fact, against Kemp. Taken by O'Donnell. He's on the centre wing. Told to play on to Buick. Forward of centre wing. They'll stay off him. This is Thompson. Down towards the pocket. Horsfold. Almost the good mark. Harvey made something out of nothing. Great snap. It's a goal.
Harvey's third goal for the Bombers, and they do crack the ton. 15-12, 102 to 7-9-51.
Yes, Mark Harvey still not playing at the top of his form, although 3 goals is very handy afternoon's work. But really they're just toying around, as Dennis said, with the West Coast Eagles. Bit of a training gallop here in this last quarter. Mark Harvey showing what he is capable of. A magnificent snap for goal.
Harvey 3 and Izard 3, the major goal kickers for Essendon. 51 points the difference in the preliminary final. It might be more. Kick it, gets it out to right half forward. Van der Haar was the target. Lockyer, a hurried hand pass. Back it comes to Hart. And he's got plenty of that. High ball to centre wing. And good mark taken by Mainwaring.
Tremendous game. Both those players, Mainwaring and Anderson, has been a great battle on the centre wing.
Hamilton taking the mark. The defensive 50-metre line for the Bombers at right half-back flank. He'll keep the ball on the member stand side of the ground. Madden, oh, great mark. Originally going for it one-handed. Snaffled it was 2. Simon Madden, 11 marks. 19 possessions, and he certainly answered the critics this week. They didn't really think he had to, but powers that be said he could have played a better game last week, and he certainly answered them today. Manning to Anderson. Izard couldn't mark it. Turner. Heady. One of the Eagles' best, certainly. Gets taken out of a beautiful bump by Darren Buick. Back it comes to David Hart on the left half-back flank. Pass in towards Jackson, who slipped over at the crucial moment, allowing O'Donnell in. Still plenty of run in his legs, streaming downfield, no one chasing. O'Donnell's pass, intended for Long, couldn't take it. Worsfold, acting captain this afternoon for the Eagles, clears. Long kick up towards midfield. And the mark taken by Turley. Off to Kemp. Kemp from the circle, down to half forward, and Lewis didn't get enough out of him today. He was well held. Jackson, with plenty of time to line up the goals, and he's put that one through for another one to the Eagles. Jackson kicking his third goal, and the Eagles' 8th, 15-12 to 8-9.
Well, they're still keeping out of the Eagles, there's no doubt about that. They won't throw in the towel, but really they just made far too many mistakes. Errors at crucial moments of the game, and Essendon, far too skilled side. If you make mistakes against Essendon, they will make the most of them.
Tells the story, Carl Langdon. 102 to 57. Essendon in total control now. Manning's over the ball. Waterman slides in on him. Got a whistle and a bounce. Still in the centre square. They led by 17 points at quarter time, the Bombers. 36 at half time, 44 at three-quarter time. Mark Harvey has 3 goals. Alan Izard has 3. 2 each to Salmon and Madden. Those 2 incidentally for Salmon took him to 300 for his career. And now it's an Essendon free kick. Manning across to O'Donnell, who pulls it back. Van der Haar on the lead. Takes the juggled mark. And shows a little aggro. No 50. Van der Haar. Now 50.
Well, he was a bit unlucky there, I thought, Chris Lewis, because Van der Haar with the juggling mark. I thought Lewis was entitled to have a go at it in the first instance. And then it looked as if Van der Haar was looking to handball off to a teammate. So Chris Lewis caught in 2 minds.
Michael Malthouse looking on there. Has been to the preliminary final before with Footscray and lost. It was against Hawthorn. They got closer that particular day though. There's less than 2 goals. Van der Haar, meantime, adds to Malthouse's problems. Another goal, the 16th on the board for the Bombers. 16-12 to 8-9.
Paul Van der Haar's first goal for the afternoon. He hasn't done a lot today, Paul Van der Haar. Only 4 kicks, 4 handballs and 2 marks. Been on and off the ground a bit. But a player who's capable of winning a match off his own boot.
9 Essendon players have now scored goals. Van der Haar's first, 51 points the difference. Madden still charging in to do battle with Phil Scott and wins it out. Manning caught in a pretty tight situation there, couldn't do much with the ball. Kemp out of the centre for the Eagles to left half forward flank. O'Donnell still running. These are most of the Essendon players. It's out of bounds. 8.5 minutes left in the match, and 8.5 minutes left in the season for the West Coast Eagles. Oft photographed Essendon supporter, that lady. Mainwaring, Lewis, close to out of bounds. Might have even been out of bounds before he kicked it. Free kick. Yeah, free to Mainwaring.
Geez, battled hard today. Chris Mainwaring, very impressed with him. Probably the 2 best players on the ground have played on each other, Dennis, which is
unusual.
Anderson for Essendon and Chris Mainwaring for the West Coast Eagles.
Been a great duel, hasn't it? 2 quality players.
Yeah. So he's gone a couple of rounds with Joe Frazier, doesn't it? The comeback trial, George Foreman now might be appropriate. But Mainwaring has the courage of the same man. Kick it, and Kemp. Chris Danaher, close to the boundary line. Leaves it for Hamilton, who takes it out of bounds before he gets it to O'Donnell. Under 8 minutes left in the clash. Boundary throw in right on 50. Left half forward flank for the Eagles. Madden knocks it down again. Watson Good game from him as a tune-up for the grand final. Mainwaring, we can make excuses for him missing that mark with an eye like that. Reminds me of one that Ronnie Wearmouth copped in a final years ago. His eye was all but closed, like that one. Two number 27s, won by Madden against Jackson. Renvold kicking to Harvey. There was Spawn up the centre wing. Scott back to Worsfold. Good hip and shoulder by Paul van der Haar. And Simon Madden. On to O'Donnell. It's like a training routine at the moment for the Essendon club. Had a long break with the qualifying final draw. Back into top form now. Danner. Terry Danaher from Hamilton. Michael Long, well caught by Brennan. Back it comes to Hamilton. As I said, like a training drill. Kemp. The hand passes on to Turley. Not too many offers there. Good bump by McKenna. Up to half forward, and Waterman takes them.
Hamilton didn't see him coming. This is Kemp. Poor kick. Inside the 50. Sumich can't control it. Still he goes. Jackson, he's got 3. This is this one. Kicks it behind. 16-12 to 8-10. This game has been over for a long time. Well, they've played well this season, the West Coast Eagles. The most unsatisfactory end of their season.
Well, it probably caught up with them in the end, didn't it, Dennis?
Well,
all the travel, the injuries that they've sustained.
I suppose you've got a truly national competition when industrial action can play a part, Bernard.
Yes, I suppose so. There's also 3 hard lead-up games to this.
Yeah. But it will hurt them. They will have some lingering doubts after this game about what might have been. It would have been better to stay in their routine and lose on their merits without wondering. This is Kickett meantime. Bizard goes short and finds Van der Haar. Van der Haar within scoring range. Essendon will go into the grand final, there's no question about that. Not all that sure they've been wonderfully convincing today, but they've done enough and will be improved again by the hit-up. No question about that. Van der Haar. Marvellous kick.
2 goals in this quarter for Paul van der Haar. 17-12 to 18.
There's indeed 2 goals for the match to Paul van der Haar. Only 5 kicks and 4 handballs, so he really hasn't done a lot, Paul van der Haar, on and off the ground. He can take some sensational high marks. He kicked 2 very good goals in this last quarter when the pressure's been off.
Two goals in this quarter to the veteran, 201 games, Paul van der Haar. So he's at least got 1 more game in his league career. Watson taking the hand pass from Kickett. Now Anderson nearly missed it, but does take the mark in front of Pios, who might be able to add to the Essendon total. He's out there bleeding from a cut in the face, but I don't think anything major. He's had 21 possessions today. Anderson goes for his 2nd goal. Won't quite get it. And off the hands through for only 1 behind, which is academic, really.
What a game by Anderson. 25 kicks, 7 handballs and 7 marks.
Good afternoon's work, Bernie.
Yeah, good return, and the player he's played on, Chris Mainwaring, has done well also.
Yes, he has. Probably the Eagles' best player. Lewis caught out of position there as Watson takes the mark. 22 possessions from him. Number 15. And Manning. He's had a stint on the bench today. Well within kicking distance, one would think.
Doing the wrong thing there, though, Manning. Going back with his back to the play, and Johnny Worsfold has gone back a few yards. Will run up as he comes in to kick.
Umpire told him that.
A pretty good sort of a hoof. And it's a goal. Manning's first goal. So 10 Essendon players now scoring majors this afternoon. 18-13, 121 to 8-10, 58.
Yeah, they've gone right on with it in this last quarter. Essendon 5 goals for the quarter. Playing a possession game at the moment, and the West Coast Eagles not sure who they should be picking up. Essendon with players running all over the ground, making space, giving themselves plenty of options in that forward line.
Back in the middle then. 18-13 to 8-10. Rucks go at it. Madden wins it down. Lewis Across his body down towards half forward. Heady leading back in the race. Anthony Danaher body to body with Sumich, and it runs out of bounds and will be thrown in. Danaher. There's Langdon. Yes. He'll be sore and sorry tonight and tomorrow. Perhaps early into the week. Plenty of time to recover. Heady. Only as far as Terry Danaher. Sends play out of the back pocket towards half-back flank. Knocked on by Spawn. Izard over the ball. In trouble. Heady. Hurried kick out of the congestion. Madden, a star today. Manning. Manning at half-back. Plays on quickly to Watson, who's moving okay now. He was limping in the previous term. Hamilton to kick it, who's been lively in this quarter, to Long, who storms through half-forward. Not a good kick, though. Lockyer goes back after it, having missed it initially, to Main Waring. Swings it out wide. Turley's outnumbered. That was a very courageous mark. Given the scoreboard and the circumstances there, Craig Turley did very well. He plays on. Breeman, that was an untidy hand pass. Breeman in trouble, but manages. Gets it across to Worsfold, who finds Dean Turner. Forward at centre wing. Thought about the hand pass. That was closed down effectively by Grenvold.
Dean Turner, who had his number taken after an incident late in the third quarter, kicks to right forward pocket. Anthony Danaher in the road for Essendon. All three Danahers doing well today. And a good mark there to Grenvold. Grenvold marking at left half back. So that's 50 metres, isn't it? Yeah. Running across the mark. I think his only excuse would be the sun was in his eyes, or lack of concentration maybe. So Grenvold now up towards centre wing. Steve Malaxos looks on. Not preferred in the finals by Michael Malthouse. After some indifferent form. Is that a free kick? It is.
I suppose the irony, Peter, will be that Malaxos will probably win the Eagles' best and fairest.
Michael Tuck can win at Hawthorn without getting a Brownlow vote too. Paul Vanderhaar, who's kicked 2 in this quarter and only 2 for the game, and judging by his previous kick for goal, could go pretty close to making it 3. 63 points the difference. Tried for the spiral punt, didn't quite get onto it. Ball lands just off the edge of the square. Hart. McKenna. Drag. Lockyer. Short kick in a marking contest, and unpaid or flipped out the back, thrown out the back by Chris Danaher, and that will be a free kick to the West Coast Eagles to be taken by Brett Heady, who was knocked up trying, and again played a very, very good game for his side. On to Kemp. Kemp from right centre wing. Not too many options open for him there. In fact, the ball bounces out of bounds in front of Sumich. Nowhere near the full forward, really. And the throw-in will take place right on 50, under a minute left in this clash.
The Eagles have kicked just 3 goals since half-time. There's the man who set the tone today. Simon Madden again working his way to the front. He's been tireless. Chris Danaher's over the ball. Tries to shovel it out. No one going anywhere. Whistle and the ball up. So we're down to 30 seconds. And Essendon are through to the grand final. Chris Danaher not looking the best there. Trying not to show it. So the last action of this game, the preliminary final. Madden got it down to Buick, who chips it close to the boundary line. Grenvold, good kick. Vanderhaar down to 5 seconds now. Vanderhaar, half-back, twisting and turning. The final kick. There's the siren. And Essendon are big winners. Essendon 18-13, Eagles 8-10.